In our second segment, we have a very interesting guest lined up. We have Miss Meera Malik. Ms. Meera Malik is an educationist. She is CEO Pehchan Pakistan, and she has been running schools. She is heading CEO of an NGO. Well, Ms. Meera Malik, assalamu alaikum and welcome to World This Morning.
Walaikum assalam, sabah and noor, and a very good morning to both of you and all the viewers.
Thank you so much for being so energetic and for being on our show. It's an absolute pleasure. So let's start the conversation. When we talk about independence, like Fahim mentioned, liberty is a fundamental agency, and I think it takes a lot of effort to protect that fundamental agency, right? So how do we protect that independence, that liberty, and the responsibilities that accompany with them? How to be a good and responsible citizen?
It's a very, very loaded question, I must say that. I don't remember who said this, but it goes like, when I was younger, I wanted to change the world. Now I'm older, I just want to change myself. So to be honest with you, just being a citizen of Pakistan, whatever that is in my capacity, I should be looking into that. Whatever role Allah has given in you, whether you're a mother, teacher, sister, whatever role that you are in, I see it that way. My responsibility is to rectify or to inculcate the best of the values that I can for myself and for my family, and further on to my students and the society at large. This is one point that I keep on saying, just do your bit. Do your bit without expecting any reward, acknowledgement. It has to be intrinsic. When you're doing something for Pakistan, it has to be intrinsic. You're not doing it to get a lot of likes or shares and appreciation. You're doing it as part of your responsibility as a Pakistani. You're going to go and set up the right values that are going to contribute towards making a healthier and happier Pakistan.
So another question that comes to mind, because I was going through a post the other day on social media, and it said perhaps in the 19th century in the British subcontinent, you had to get a permit in order for you to sit in a British officer's office, right? Or a gentleman's office. You had to get a permit for that. Kursi something, I've forgotten the name, right?
And I think that's a very famous maxim that Indians and dogs are not allowed, right?
Exactly,
that shows the environment that was prevalent there.
So when we talk about responsibility and you being an educationist that you are, how can we practically instill that feeling, that patriotism in the young generation, which is the future of Pakistan, that this is the value of independence which you people take for granted?
Before I answer your question, thank you for referring to that one, because it has been a discussion in my home, in my family, because my great-great-grandfather refused to take that ticket. And he declined it, and that is my in-laws, like my husband's great-great-grandfather. And we were just discussing how powerful that message was for them. But then again, there were so many who took it, and they took a lot of pride in accepting that sikka, that kursi sikka for them. It was that letter. Coming back to our roles and responsibility in inculcating, I think it's just the one key element, that is being optimistic. Being optimistic, being grateful, feeling blessed for whatever Allah has given us. And you know, in the ages, even yesterday, there were a lot of pessimistic messages that I was seeing, and not from the youth, unfortunately from the generation who actually had more role in damaging Pakistan than these younger ones. Even if you're at home, if you're not celebrating it with the right spirit, and if you're constantly talking about all the dark things that are going on in Pakistan, and all the injustice, you want to highlight that, how can you expect your child to feel that pride? It's
true that.
I mean, it's very simple. Even if you go through the entire Quran, you are not going to find a single instruction for a child. There isn't a single instruction that Allah gives that teach your child, you know, that is specific. Why? Because Islam or the religion is all about role modeling.
True.
As simple as that, and that's the reason that's not mentioned. Whatever you're going to do, whatever, and you must have noticed, even if there's a family politics going around in the house, you'll notice all the aunt, the puppy, the khai, the mommy, that you don't feel good about it, automatically your child doesn't like that person.
Yeah.
I mean, That's it's as simple as that.
It's the nature of the child,
I feel
yes.
we, as being mothers, teachers, we hold such a huge responsibility on our shoulders. Unless we do not practice what we preach, our new generation is not going to, I mean, why do you think they're so skeptical about everything that we do?
And I think no one can deny the importance that a mother's lap is the first nursery
Oh,
where
yes.
you are nurtured, where you're groomed. And now let's talk about experiences. For example, you were mentioning that the act of the revolt against the British tyranny, that your in-laws, the great in-laws did that. And when we talk about independence, I do remember when I used to sit with my dadi, she has passed away, or with my nana, they used to very passionately talk about independence and how there was a mass exodus from the India to Pakistan, people migrated, and how they opened their doors and people gave them the refuge here, and there was no concept of any discrimination at that time, right? A lot of people conflated that idea with the Ansar and Muhajirin back in the era of Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But unfortunately, that generation has gone, or either they've passed away or they're in a stage they're very, very old, right? And every generation has its own experiences, right? So our younger generation might not be able to relate to those stories because we could relate to them because our nana, nani, dada, dadi used to talk about it, right? So how can we keep that the spirit of freedom alive in those kids, or make sure that they're also related with that history, or rooted in that sense of belonging that we call Pakistan?
You know, this is so close to my heart what you said. I used to go through all that, and I used to think, what can we do about it? So I initiated a contest by the name of Pehchan Pakistan.
Right.
And if you go on the website, you're going to see this is exactly what she is saying, that since that generation is no more with us, what can we do now to instill those values? So Pehchan Pakistan is an inclusive, one is thing that we include every kind of child in that. And then it talks about Pakistan, it talks about Pakistaniyat. And every year we pick up a theme, like this year's theme is celebrating heritage and culture of Pakistan. You'll be amazed that all the things that with the children, the students go through their education and syllabus, there's hardly any focus on this particular area. I mean, if I want to ask anyone actually, even the grown-ups probably, they would never not even can name 3 sites that are named in the heritage website for in UNESCO. And last year that we celebrated the biodiversity of Pakistan. And yesterday you must have seen when we were talking that everybody was going out and planting a tree without even realizing which kind of tree that you should be planting in that specific area. So what I have done, this is the kind of platform that I've created. What I see so much of potential in today's parents and today's youth to create such platforms. Like, let's start talking about Pakistan. Let's start celebrating. There are so many aspects of Pakistan that can be celebrated, and it doesn't have to be a contest. It can be a talk. It can be just a chit chat. Just start involving. One of the things that I feel the parents have stopped doing is talking to their children.
That's true.
Don't you feel it's such a transitional dialogue? Have you eaten? Have you? I mean, are you prepared for tomorrow? Is your bag ready? Is your clothes there? And that's all we talk about.
And then they complain that बच्चे हमारी बात नहीं सुनते.
हमारे नहीं सुनते क्योंकि because you know we don't have time for children anymore.
I remember yesterday I was talking to my son and I told him, okay, you're celebrating, you're wearing green. Why are you wearing green? Why are you celebrating? And he said, I don't know, Baba.
Yes.
And then I made sure that I tell him why. I told him what freedom is all about. I told him that the permit, I told him about that we weren't allowed. Now you are. You can go and sit anywhere you want to.
Absolutely.
That's just an example.
That's such a beautiful thing to do.
Oh, and I think all the parents should, because instead of focusing more on going out in the cars and honking, I think we should be teaching our children, fine, do that too if you want to, but at least tell them why we're doing it.
Yes.
Yeah?
I mean, such a beautiful conversation to have with your child. Why are we wearing green? What does this white thing signifies in a flag?
Exactly.
I mean, basic things that even in the environment, we have the most beautiful country in the world.
That's true.
I mean, you name it. What kind of a geographical location that we do not have? What is it that is missing? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, I mean, but what we are missing out
Only
is
I
that
think it's the
appreciation.
responsibility
Yes,
that's
yes,
missing.
Yes.
Yes.
But again, responsibility starts with us. Our children are not seeing us being as good and responsible citizens as we should have been, showing
True.
them actually.
Right,
So
right.
that's the best thing we can do. We can just act in a responsible way and stand at the right side of the history.
Right,
And this is very important
And
too.
Ms. Mira, quickly, because of the paucity
Yes.
of the time, let's explore the concept of independence, the freedom, the liberty at the intersection of education. How do they complement each other? And as an educationist, how are you making sure that you're filling the gap?
What a beautiful thing that you have reminded me. Quaid-e-Azam, he went to Balochistan, and he was, traditionally, he was awarded or presented a sword.
Right, right.
And you know what he said? That this is what we are going to use in defense. The first weapon, the first thing, that is the education.
The pen,
And the second one is economic development and empowerment. Unless and until we do not educate, and by education, again, I just do not mean just going through the curriculum and passing grades.
True, true, true.
There has to be a skill now. It has to be a skill-based education. We need to look into that. We have to be inclusive. We are lacking behind that. But again, let me tell you, the situation is not that pessimistic. There are so many unsung heroes who are working towards improving education, and you will be amazed. But we never heard about them. So we just think, because we are sitting in the capital, we think that entire Pakistan is like this. No. There are thousands of people running institutions on their own, under an NGO, and they are doing such a wonderful, they're providing such beautiful platforms in their villages, actually.
Right.
And I must, there's a, let me quote an example. There is a Kahuta, there's a place in Kahuta,
yes.
and
Right.
thoda sa usse aage jo hai na, there's a Azim public school.
All right.
I've
Azim,
heard it, yeah.
you have,
I
okay.
think I've heard
So it's run by a retired army person. What he did, he picked up every year. He picks up 100 boys and girls from his village, and he educates them. And he has been doing this from the last, I don't know, 16, 17 years.
20 years, I guess.
20 years.
yes,
And
yes.
now he has more than 100 or 150 professionals in army, and who are in doctors, who are engineers. Just imagine the vision he had. And let me tell you, I mean, even the fee is within 1,000. That's the beauty of it. And the people who cannot afford it, it's all right. It's absolutely free of cost. So such are the people that must be celebrated and encouraged.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
let's highlight these stories instead of all the negativity. And
Well-
one of the things that I really appreciate at my house, I've taken off the TV. You know, there are less fights.
Right.
There's less breaking
I'm
news,
pretty
and
sure.
you know, it's the environment. It's so much negativity, and I do believe in the way. What the kind of energy you omit at home. If you enter a home jahan pe the whole day there's a TV and the breaking news is there and everything that is going on is pessimistic, it is impacting your child, by the way.
That's very true.
Whether
and
you accept that or not, it
that's
is
very-
impacting it.
That's very
Right.
true. And thank you so much for coming here,
Thank
Ms. Priya.
you.
Thank you for wonderful message that